Okay, lesson 7.4, solving polynomial equations in factored form, and this is part 3. All right, so we split this up to do a part 3 because this type of real world question, I have a feeling you're gonna see one on the EOC. Okay, so you gotta really be ready. Like, you can totally do this, but you gotta just understand what they're saying when they set it up. Okay, so you can model the arch of a fireplace using the equation y equals -1/9 x plus 18 x minus 18. Okay, so I know it looks a little different than what we've been working with, but stay with me. X and y are measured in inches. And here's the key, okay? This is the important part. The x-axis is the floor. Okay, now, if they give you a question like this, but they don't say that, you make the x-axis the floor, because then you can work with it, because what are we finding every time we solve these polynomials? The x-intercepts, right? So make the x-axis the floor, because then we can use the x-intercepts, okay? So we're gonna find the width of the fireplace arch at floor level. Okay, so that's what we're gonna find. Now, you don't need a detailed graph. What I want you to recognize, though, is that if we did put this on a graph, if this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis, this is your fireplace. Okay, so you have a fireplace in the shape of an arch, so this is the whole fireplace, okay? And we know that this is an x-intercept. We know that this is an x-intercept, right? And we want to know the width from here to here, which means if we find our x-intercepts, then we can know what the width is. All right, so first thing, what do we know? What is the value of y for all x-intercepts? Okay, not just this one, but any x-intercept. What would the value of y be? 0, right? Okay, every time we want to know what an x-intercept is, we put a 0 in for y, because we know that no matter what number this is on the x-axis, it's 0 on the y-axis. All right, so plug in a 0 for the y and solve for x. When you do that, when you put a 0 in for y and solve for the x, you are finding the x-intercept. In this case, there's going to be 2 of them. Okay, so y equals -1/9 x plus 18 x minus 18. We put a 0 in for the y. Now, this does look a tiny bit different. It's got that -1/9 out there. But think logically here. Is that going to matter? It's being multiplied. So if this right here becomes a 0, it's still gonna, it's not, the negative 1/9 isn't gonna affect it because it's 0 times negative 1/9, still 0. If this becomes a 0, same thing, okay? So it does not matter if that 1/9 is out there, because it's just being multiplied and there's no x with it, then it isn't really relevant as far as the x-intercepts, okay? All right, so we're gonna take the two factors, right, that have x's in them. X plus 18, set that equal to 0, or x minus 18, set that equal to 0, and solve. So subtract 18, so x is going to be negative 18, or x is going to be positive 18. Okay, so last thing, you solved, but the question itself said find the width of the arch at floor level. So we have to know how far apart are negative 18 and positive 18. Well, just think about it on a number line. This is 18, here's 0, here's negative 18. The distance from here, from negative 18 to 0 is 18. The distance from 0 to 18 is another 18. So the distance between those two then would be 36 inches. And that's how wide the fireplace would be. Okay, so we're not going, oh, they cancel each other out. No, because it's distance. So you can't have a negative distance. This still has a distance of 18 inches. This still has a distance of 18 inches. So 36 altogether. All right, I'm going to have you guys try one. Okay, so the entrance of a mine is modeled by y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4 x minus 4. X and y are in feet this time. The x-axis is the ground. And we want to know how wide is the mine at ground level. Okay, pause in here. All right, so again, if the ground is the x-axis and we want the width of the mine at ground level, then we want the x-intercepts, right? We want the x-intercepts. So make y equals 0. The equation they gave us, y equals negative 1/2 times x plus 4 times x minus 4. 0 in for y. Okay, this negative 1/2 isn't going to change anything because it's being multiplied, so we're just going to solve for x. So x plus 4 has to equal 0, or x minus 4 has to equal 0. Subtract 4, x equals negative 4, add 4, x equals positive 4. Those are your two x-intercepts, right? Now we're going to find the distance between them. This is 0. 4 would be here. Negative 4 would be here. This has a distance of 4. This has a distance of 4. So the mine is 8 feet wide. Because this time x and y were in feet, right?